Hey guys, welcome to Just a Mom and Her Glue Gun. We create DIY projects that are fun and easy to make using products from your local stores. Today we're going to show you how you can make a silicone mermaid tail, perfect for swimming, photography, cosplay, or even a Halloween costume. Let's gather our supplies. First, you will need a fabric swim tail. You can either buy one or you can make one out of fabric yourself. Next is a plastic bowl. Use plastic over metal or glass because it's easier to get silicone off plastic. A plastic spoon, a caulking gun, some type of plastic glove. It's important to get 100% silicone caulk with no acrylic or latex added. Now you don't need this, but adding glitter or confetti of your choice is fun because it adds a little shimmer to the actual tail and just kind of spices it up. An oil paint color of your choice. I found that oil paints cure really well with the silicone and they have much brighter colors in the end. D-Limonene is a natural orange degreaser. You can buy it in industrial strength, but you don't need to. You can go to your local store, go to the orange degreasers, look at the ingredients list, and find one that it's predominantly D-Limonene. Now, I buy an off-brand, and I also buy Goo Gone. I use the Goo Gone in small amounts to increase the thinning of the silicone for different portions of the tail. Cornstarch. A fish scale mold. You can get a roller like you see here, or you can find some of the flat ones. A plastic table cover to protect your surfaces. Some items you're going to need that are not pictured are Vaseline. This helps lubricate your mold so that the silicone doesn't stick, and your gloves. You're going to need some safety items. Safety glasses to protect your eyes. A respirator mask to protect you from the acetone fumes from the caulk curing. Also, you're going to need an outdoor location or a very, very well ventilated location to prevent you from these fumes. Plastic or cardboard covered in Saran wrap. This basically lines the inside of the tail so the two layers don't stick. Let's get set up and organized. Gather all your ingredients and set up your workspace. When you get your swim tail, you're going to want to line it with plastic or cardboard covered in Saran wrap so the two layers do not stick together during silicone application, and so the swim tail maintains its shape while you do each side. Step 1. Mixing the silicone. Start with a good amount of your off-brand degreaser. Add a smaller amount of the Goo Gone. Add 100% silicone caulk. You can add up to 3 at one time. This is about the max you want to use because you want to have enough time to design your tail without it drying too quickly. Now it's time to add the glitter in whatever colors you choose. Add your oil paint in the color that you choose. I usually get a large tube of oil paint, so I have enough to get through the whole project. Now it's time to have some fun. Let's mix it all up. While you're mixing things up, it's a good idea to keep a bowl of the cheap degreaser nearby so that you can keep your hands well lubricated so the silicone does not stick to them during this process. Step 1.1, a time saver. Adding cornstarch to the recipe. In order to hasten drying time and to make sure the silicone is curing throughout, you can add cornstarch to the recipe. This is a good idea to add cornstarch to the recipe when you're doing things like the fin, which is a thicker layer. Anything over 1/2 inch should have cornstarch added to it. Step 2, applying the silicone. Before you start, moisten your hands in the bowl of degreaser. Then grab a small ball of silicone and start applying it to the fabric of the swim tail. Go ahead and keep dipping your hands in the degreaser as you smooth out the silicone. You want it to be like 1/2 inch thick or less. After you've coated the entire tail in silicone, you can either allow it to cure and then start another layer to add the details to, so it's a thicker tail, or you can start adding the details to this layer. Step 3, adding details and designs. For this step, get your silicone mold with the fish scales on it and coat it with Vaseline. This way it does not stick to the silicone or vice versa. Once you start to apply it, you want to make sure that your scales are in the correct direction of growth pattern for normal scales on a tail. You also do not want to press too hard if you've only done one layer of silicone, because it'll go straight through to the fabric and mess up the thickness of your tail. When you're creating the fin, you're going to want to add cornstarch to this batch of caulk. There are 2 reasons for this. The first being, you're going to create some elaborate designs for the tail, and you may go beyond a 1/2 inch thickness in this location, and you want it to cure throughout. The second reason being, the fin is what propels you through the water, so you want it to be a harder, tougher silicone in this location. Another thing you want to avoid in this batch of caulk is adding Goo Gone. You don't want it to be ultra thin silicone in this location. Like I said, you want it to be harder and tougher. And if it's strong enough, you can go without the monofin underneath. Additional considerations. Some additional considerations to take into account prior to making your tail. First is drying time. You need to allow adequate drying time prior to adding additional layers, flipping your tail to do the other side, and anytime you're creating a thickness of greater than 1/2 inch. Things like temperature, humidity, direct sun exposure, weather like rain or snow, these can all increase or decrease your drying times. One rule of thumb I use is, if in doubt, leave it longer. The amount of caulk. For this tutorial, I created a 5T suit with 2 layers. That was 8 tubes of caulk. Could have been less tubes with less layers. In the video you see here, that's an adult small, and that took 25 tubes of caulk, and is mainly due to the fact that it has a very large, elaborate fit on it. Price estimates. The 5T suit cost about $110, and that factors in the price of the swim tail, which I bought online. You can also create your own swim tail by sewing it yourself with athletic fabric that's stretchy, or swimsuit fabric. Now, the swimsuit fabric will be pricier than athletic fabric. In the video you see here, that's adult small. That cost more like $200 to $250, a little cheaper for me because I sewed the tail itself with athletic fabric. Other uses, I use these a lot for photography. You can obviously swim in them, Halloween, cosplay, that kind of thing. Hey guys, thanks for watching Just a Mom and Her Glue Gun Silicone Creations. Hit that subscribe and bell button so you can get notified of future videos.